Hi, how's it going? Matt here, welcome back to SuperCard Models. So I've got a slightly shorter one for you today. As I mentioned in the last video, there's a small panel that sits between the two taillights at the back of a Gallardo. It looks quite simple and straightforward, but in reality, to get the size and the shape and the contour and the fit that I wanted, I ended up having to make it out of a handful of different parts that fit in a very certain way. So yeah, let's get into the footage and I'll show you how I built it. So this is the panel that I'm building today, and here it is fitted between the two tail lights. I've documented all the parts in a layered Adobe Illustrator file, as I've done with all the other parts for this build so far. To create the Lamborghini badge, I traced a photo of a real badge which I found online to create a vector version of the logo. I gave it a gradient fill to kind of emulate like a chrome finish, and then printed it out on glossy photo paper. I printed all the rest of the plans out on my black and white A4 printer, traced those onto various sheets of card and foil board, and used my craft knife to cut them all out by hand. And here are all the parts that I need for this panel, ready to be assembled. This will essentially be the foundation part for the panel. I've cut this one from a sheet of heavy black card, which is 1000 GSM poster board. First I'll prepare the part by doing some folding. Both ends of the part fold up into a box-like shape. I'll use my fold over clips to hold them while the PVA glue dries. Next I want to introduce a bit of curvature to the piece, like this. To get a smooth curve in heavy card, there's a few different techniques that I use. But this time I'll clamp the part tightly between my thumb and a curved surface, in this case a spray can, and I'll run the part through a bunch of times. And finally, there are some small tabs to fold down. Now I can fold and fit these two small brackets. And these brackets are also cut from heavy black poster board. And again I'll use my fold over clips to hold them in place while they dry. These two small details that I'm gluing on now will allow me to create a specific contour at the top of the panel when I cover this piece with the outer body panel. You'll see what I mean shortly. Next I can start preparing the outer body panel part, which I've cut from shiny black foil board. I need to run a black pen around the outside to hide the white card edges. Then it needs to be folded like this. Now the outer body panel can be attached to the inner structure assembly. As usual, when I'm attaching the outer body panels, I just use a very thin bead of glue around the outside of the panel only, and that ensures the outer body panel sits nice and smooth once the glue dries. It's important to make sure the outer body panel makes good contact all the way around, so I just continue to press it down all over until the glue starts to dry. The next step is to glue down the outer body panel on those two box sections on each end. The last outer body panel part to prepare and fit is this one, which attaches to the 4 tabs and creates a narrow surface which runs along at 90 degrees relative to the main surface of the rear of the panel. The final detail to add is the Lamborghini badge, and as I mentioned earlier, I've just printed this one out on glossy photo paper and cut it out by hand with my craft knife. Just going around with my black Sharpie pen again to hide the white paper edges. Once that's done, I can glue it to the panel with super glue. I'll only need a few small drops, and I've marked exactly where the badge needs to be positioned, just with 3 small pinholes. And there's the panel, all assembled and ready to be fitted to the car. So I didn't film the process of fitting it to the car, is it simply sits securely in place with tabs and slots. That way it can be easily removed again when I fit the engine and transmission in one of the upcoming videos. So yeah, there's that little panel done. The next video should be out next week, will be about assembling the rear bumper. The rear bumper was a bit of a design challenge for sure. On a Gallardo, the rear bumper is pretty complex, a lot of different shapes and forms and details going on. So yeah, make sure you check that one out. It's going to be good. As usual, if you've got a project like this on the go, I'd love to see some photos of what you're working on. Send me a link or some photos to matt@supercardmodels.com, or yeah, just DM me on Instagram. Thanks for watching. See you next week.